Welcome back to BearTalk, the show where we explore design, technology, productivity, and how AI is reshaping the way we work. Today, I'm joined by Geoff Wilson. Geoff is a researcher, designer, writer, and maker, someone who's been everything from a product owner to a stand-up comedy producer. Now, above all, he's a curious soul who's been always asking why and turning that curiosity into real projects. In our conversation, we dive into why curiosity is often more powerful than perfection, how to shift from being obsessed with the processes to actually building things, the impact of AI on juniors, seniors, and the future of design work, and how to stay authentic when navigating LinkedIn filter and the pressures of content creation. It's a wide range and very real conversations about creativity, career, and the future of work. So let's jump in.
What are you up to? What do you do on in Melbourne, right? So now, Geoff.
I am just here in Melbourne visiting my friend Guy Thompson because he is a digital marketer. And so he is kind of what I call my productivity partner in helping me get the motivational factor to make a lot of stuff. So with this self-promoting Formula One fast track thing behind me, I've been launching a course, like an e-course, and I wanted to come, one, because I love the city, but two, to get Guy's help with just showing me the more marketing side. Showing me how to make just tons of clips while I'm here. We went out to Albert Park yesterday, which is where the first F1 race of the year starts. And we recorded dozens and dozens of clips. And so just trying to learn from him, the social media marketing side of things, how to make different clips, how to make different hooks, how to write the descriptions, and then getting him to challenge me to actually put them out more. So breaking me of that perfect over good. So, it's let me write the perfect description. He's like, no, just send it, just go. And it's what about the hashtag? No, just go. He's very much into TikTok. Is just post stuff, post a lot of it, just keep going. The more you'll have, the more people you can get engaged with, the more people you can try to drive to the course to buy, and make purchases. So other than loving the city, I'm here can't call it a business trip because visas wouldn't allow that. This is a leisure trip to see a friend, and I just happen to be here making a lot of content while I'm here.
Wow.
A way to step back from work for a week, right? And have the entire day to make stuff, and then, hey, join a podcast.
That's awesome. I mean, actually, why are you starting a content creator path, like a new career path, or just for hobby? Why is that? I'm curious.
The why is actually going back to, I've always done it. I've always forever done something. I have been writing blogs and books, my version of a book, like goofy books back in university. I had a comedy philosophy blog. Then when I got into stand-up comedy and production, I started running comedy shows and being in them. And then I was learning a bunch of tips. And then now it's I'm done with comedy. And I want to focus on going back to writing again. And then I've always wanted to make products. I want to make things because it kind of scratches an itch that work might not necessarily always give me. If you work at a giant enterprise, which I always have, it could take some time to get things out the door. And so I want to have my own things. So when I publish a blog, I can go from nothing to published product, right? Something is out there. And I'll use the word product liberally. And so for an F1 course, it was, how do I could play the game of just writing stuff and blogs and videos and hope, what everybody else does. Hope you get famous, hope you get followers and somehow magically money. Well, I was starting to go, how would I actually go to money? How instead of just hoping that people follow you and hoping people like it and hoping people share it and all that, what could I learn and what could I do to make it like a minimum viable product, put a thing out, make a course, put it online, and then work on the marketing side of things, that acquisition funnel. How could I test out, not just follow me and one day I'll sell you something. How can I get closer and closer to, here's a paid ad, click my link, buy me a coffee, buy me lunch, learn everything, in this case about F1 or whatever other courses I might do. So all of that to say, I've actually been creating stuff forever. It's just a lot of it has always been you do stuff like an artist and just hope you get seen. I made a podcast. I made 16 episodes of that. There's no money funnel though. It was just like, oh, do a podcast and maybe magically, thousands and thousands of followers will come. And then with thousands of followers, you could turn on ads, but those people never came. Right. So I had, 30 to 50 downloads per episode, mostly friends and network, which was great. In hindsight, when you frame it around that thing of, there is 50 people in a room that came to watch you. That's your conference talk. That's your, whatever it is. But when you are driven in terms of like, this is, I want to get money, or I want to get this other things, or I want to, make it a sustainable side project, or whatever it might be. When you have that angle, it gets a lot more depressing.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, rather than just make stuff and hope people will pay you in some ways for it, make stuff with the intention of seeing, can I deliver a product that actually sells? Can I basically do the entire job of an office, but with myself? Very, very long-winded answer there.
But I love it. Thanks, Geoff. I went to some similar journey, like what you just done. It's like before making something, it's out of curiosity, like for example, making podcasts or other kind of content. The process itself is the reward. It's already the reward. Yeah. It's like, oh, quite enjoying it. And those traffics or like the views are byproducts. Like, okay, I got it. And people are watching and it feels good. And recently I started to build my own product, and the mindset, totally shifts from, it's out of a hobby, and now, okay, this is a real product. How do we make it profitable, and what's the funnel? It's more like a traditional design slash product side, and it's really, I think it's really good to have different sides, or like to cross over these two fields, and to be able to like try different things. It's what do you think?
So aligned in that sense. And I think hearing yours, what I like about it is it reminds me, as you kind of watch me and hear me, I've always got this conflicted mind, because in some ways it starts with curiosity. And that's always the why behind everything. Is like when I did stand up, it was, well, I've always been curious. And luckily I had a friend push me to do it, some colleagues. And then I did it for 3 years. And when I got into it, I learned everything I could possibly learn. That's why I ended up getting to production, because oftentimes I start doing something and I go, there's inefficiencies here. We can make this better. How do I make this better? And I just start, consuming everything around, what are the best comedy tips for stand-up and improv? How do I do this better? How do I act on stage? And I consumed everything for 3 years. And it was kind of like, hey, I achieved more than I ever planned. I helped produce a show for an international comedy fest in New Zealand. I was in the show. Wow. We ran an improv show. We launched co-created and co-wrote a pilot of a comedy panel game show. Never had planned for any of that. I thought I would do like an open mic gig or two. But after that, I was like, it takes a lot of time. It's not sustainable. Can't really go home to the wife because you're out a lot, because comedy's a nighttime thing. She does day job. We both do. But then at night, you're always gone. So I stopped that. It was a great run. And then now into this product space, kind of like I saw the one you made today, your jam one. It's like, it starts with the curiosity again. So like, okay, I'm really into F1 right now, as you can tell. I went from never caring about it 20 years ago when my friends were talking about it, to, like many people during pandemic and stuff, started watching Drive to Survive. I was like, I'm very curious about this from the engineering side of it, because like most sports, I used to watch American football a lot, or New Zealand rugby and stuff. And sports just they play and they go, and there's strategies and there's tactics, but there's so many people to follow. And I realized with F1, it's the engineering side. It's that every race, the cars are slightly different. They're thinking of the weather, the rain, the track, the temperature, the elevation, all of these factors going into it, and constantly upgrading the car. So, and as an engineer by trade, I love that part of it. And so I'm in that phase now, kind of like comedy. I'm consuming all of it. I went to a race. I'm now building a course, because it's like, well, what do I like to talk about? What I love to talk about in the office is not, hey, how was your weekend? Yeah, it's good. Or just honestly, I'll be straight up. It's just always risky saying these things publicly. Even the design and research side, like, before we turn this on, I used to help host UX Auckland for a year and a half of like running these meetups and going to all the conferences. I have learned a lot in that space. I've practiced it a lot. So the novelty of like what new things is not as much in the process and tools wise than it is like learning how to make a new product. AI, I'm sure we'll get to, but that's kind of that same vein. Ooh, lots of new things to play with. So there's always a million things more to learn in like research and design in terms of skill sets. And there's always something to learn in terms of the people that you're researching, right? The customers you're trying to get or staff you're trying to help. And that's the curious part about that. But then there's the building aspect. It's the creation aspect of not just here's a story, let me tell you why it matters, but from this place of like your product today. I watched your video on Jam because that's my new little, I'm trying to not just jump into AI like vibe coding and all that. Cause I'm like, I need to focus on this course. I made this. Let me see this through for at least a little bit more. Let me try to really focus on this for a bit. And then you can pick up the next toy and start learning how to do all of that stuff. So yes, it's a curiosity driven life, that some people relax when they go home at night. Some people, go home after work and just can sit there and have dinner and watch something. But I'm sure as you feel the same, there's an itch of you go home and you're like, okay, we'll do the family thing, but I still need to make something. I still need to try something. I still need to learn something.
Yeah, that's a great one, because it's actually got me thinking about two things. I'll start with the design related one, because you mentioned that the design meetups and other conferences, we used to learn a lot and also quite enjoying that. But recently, I started to shift my mindset from design to product and to actual business or other sides. And I started to observe or notice that it feels we used to care design, but in really details level, like in the really detailed level, like, what sort of technology you're using for doing survey or like eye tracking or other things. It's more like quite focused on those specific approaches or methods. And sometimes it feels kind of lose the holistic sides of the whole business or things like that. And sometimes we also got the struggle, like working in the design, like as a design role in a business, just because maybe lack of that understanding of the business side. But yeah, what do you think on that, or like from the design community perspective?
I have thoughts, because you said a word that we also shared some notes, and maybe this is you might have read it. But first, I'd actually like to put it back to you, because I'd like to change things up a bit. What is there something you've seen in terms of what kind of risk have you seen? Actually, I want to put it back to you. So related to that, like, because I think we'll share an idea, but related to like focusing on processes and stuff, have you seen it not go well or lose out in some ways because people are focused too much on that? Have you seen it go wrong?
That's a good one. I think it depends on, it's always depends, right? It's always depends on.
That's a favorite word.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so flexible. So I think for some projects or some directions, if the path is quite clear and we want to deliver the best quality of the output, and also if the market is not that flexible, and if there's a team and everyone's collaborating on that, so you're not only responsible for your part, you take the responsibility from the whole part, and in that case, I think I'd like to focus more on details, and especially if I work collaborating with a team, so that I'll just let's bring my professional side and expert as an expert to really
craft things in details and get it delivered. But then when I shifted into, okay, let's build something and try if it works. Because I don't know, there are so many uncertainties. Like, do people love it? Do they actually going to use it? And do they actually going to pay for using it? How many people are there are interested? Yeah, so many things uncertain. And in that case, I know that, okay, those details doesn't matter at this stage. I need to go further, go fast, and it's okay to break things fast, or like to try. So before it's more like a theory. Like, okay, we know that. Let's build fast and fail fast. But you actually can't do that much in a corp environment. If I be honest,
you can and you can't. Or you can if you're willing to break not break rules, but just break the norms, I guess, a bit. I'm smiling like an idiot because essentially you've just said the things I've been saying like all last week. I'm right now very hot on fast and loose, and I choose my words carefully, but at the same point, I allow emotion to come in my words. So internally, I've been saying that this past weekend, it makes some people on edge of like, no, look, we're doing this research fast and loose. And they're like, but there's not like, we've got to have processes. We have like to do a structured way. Like, it depends on what we're trying to solve. If we're just trying to answer an assumption or just get it a little bit more understood, I don't need a super rigorous reviewed by everybody survey. Let me just dump something out. Let me put something out tomorrow. Because that one question that we ask to the market or ask to our customer base, we're not going to put everything on that. We're not going to put all of the weight on that one survey. We're going to do this many times. We're just trying to learn enough for today to get us to tomorrow. Because the thing that I guess I always want to see done better is just making decisions for the day. Making decisions for what you got today. We can change it tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll learn more stuff, but make something today. Like in every meeting you go to, make a decision. Even if it's just like stay the course, or pick design A versus B, make something for today. Tomorrow we'll learn more. We'll test it some more. We'll talk to some more people. And I say all that because going back a few steps, like when your first question of like eye tracking and processes and stuff is I see a lot of that. And I even had a friend ask me this, actually guy, the one I'm staying with, asked me this morning. He was talking about like what I do. He's like, oh, do you use like eye tracking? I was like, no, I don't. And he's like, wait, why? Because I've heard that's like, it's just, he wasn't really super familiar, it sounds like, but he's heard big companies or big people like talk about eye tracking and how cool the tech is. You put it on and you watch where users are seeing, like, well, we're not solving that problem. Like that's a problem for somebody else hyper defining a thing. What I'm trying to do is just go, does this thing need to be made? Where's the thing we should be working on? What should we be focusing on? There's so many ways to get to that. And a lot of what I at least focus on is that early discovery part of like, what matters? Why are people doing what they're doing? I'm far less interested for what we're trying to solve in terms of the micro adjustments of like reading efficiency on a page or like exactly where the button should be laid out here versus there. We're trying to go, do we need this thing at all? What should we be making?
Yeah. Yes or no.
And so in that sense of processes, I think back to, a decade ago or whatever, how I was trying to kind of like comedy, kind of like Formula One and everything else. I was trying to learn every method. I've got a spreadsheet that's like 100 lines long of basically all of the different testing methods I could find. So this is like before, if you've ever read David J. Bland's book, Testing Business Ideas, right? Essentially, I wrote my version of that years before because I just was so nervous that I'd go to a meetup or go to whatever it was, and literally honestly nervous that people would ask me like what I know, and it was the theory. It was, I've done that method, or I've tried that thing, or I've done that study this way. And I was so worried of being called out and like being a fraud and all of that because I didn't know all of the methods.
Is that?
Yeah. And it's like now I still don't use most of them. I use like the basics. Most of the things I do is just conversations, because I can learn more in that than I feel than trying to ask for a lot of money internally to pay something that's really complex that the business might not be ready for this time. That might not be the thing that they need to solve. It's all of that junior and intermediate, like scare and fear I had of like not knowing every method and having to read every single book and be up to date on all the literature. I used to, live on Twitter and learn before Twitter was X and all that, and just like follow everybody and learn everything and watch every podcast, listen to every single thing, so that if somebody quizzed me, like a pub quiz, I'd know exactly the right answer to say. And I focused so much on that, I didn't focus enough on the practical learning, I guess, of it all. And just being comfortable, just doing things, just trying for today. Learn what you can today, move on. Yes.
Yeah, that's a really great reflection. When did you have this transition from the previous stage, like, oh, I need to do everything, tick all the check boxes, but now it's like, oh, let's go. Is that, because I'm curious, is the improv like a stand-up helps on that, or like
it did? That definitely did. There's like multiple angles, I think. One, yeah, improv and comedy definitely, because it's the stage presence. As a person who does research, you could always just kind of, or for me, I could always just turn on the extroversion and be a interview wise. I wish I could pinpoint exactly what it was now, but like, cause improv helped. And there's something specific with work. Let me come back to it, because there's the one part that I'm missing, and hopefully I'll find it. I will tell you, one part that really helped, was Ritalin. Yes. Cause for years, back in university, I was told, hey, you're doing really well in some classes and really terribly in other classes. And I was starting to explain it of like, I just get like, these I love and I'll just consume everything about it. These I just get bored and I fall asleep during tests, and I just like, I've got nothing there. And my guidance counselor was like, you should really, have you ever talked to anybody about ADHD? I was like, no. And for 10 years, again, I put it off and didn't do anything. And then finally, more and more, people keep meeting over the years and like, you got like so much energy for certain things and not for others. Have you ever looked into this? And so finally I did. And while this could turn into a mental health podcast in a way, finally I sought out a diagnosis, just going, hey, I'll just go talk to somebody, and you won't try to prove why I'm a certain way, but let's just say all the actions of me arriving to that appointment, he put down his pen and paper. It's like, look, man, I've already got a diagnosis in mind, just on how you arrived at this place. And then all of this to say is, got medicated for ADHD, and that was one of the big helpers, is because all of this like social anxiety I have of not knowing and being worried about what people would say when I'm at a meetup or at work if I didn't know the right things. The medication side for me, for my brain, was one part that really helped, is because it allowed me to finally sit down, slow down, and still be the same, but even this pause right here, being more comfortable, going, I can take this space. I can take a second to just sit there and think through something and allow things to mellow out and make people wait. Like I'm kind of waffling intentionally just to prove a point right now, going slower. I never used to be able to do that. And I think it's with that, this is about 1.5 years ago or so now, 2 years ago. I forgot how long it's been. It's only in the past few years. And just with that, I started to realize at work, I could do that same thing and not be so worried about what the boss thought of me or what everybody thought. And just that authenticity could come out more. I'm going to follow what I believe in, and I'm not going to be worried about constantly trying to pitch myself. Like I will promote myself through my actions, rather than worrying about something I can't control. While I still haven't really found an answer in this long waffling description of like what exactly changed, I think the other thing that really helped for me, again, outside of like the ADHD side and recognizing that and learning more about that, just time with work. I think the other thing was the stuff I've been reading a lot more. It was really helping me get more, I guess, clear that just in terms of that extrinsic versus intrinsic motivations and factors that what can I control in my life? So the biggest driver for everything I do now is very much a thought of, what could I have done better? And when I stop worrying about like, it's the boss's fault for doing this, or it's the company's fault for not doing that, or it's this, like my life and my journey is all dependent on somebody else. Whether I get hired is depending on somebody else.
Yeah.
And now it's more like, what can I do? And so I think that probably is the main answer. Is it's more of this mindset shift that happened, not like a specific day, not like a specific job or anything. It was the stuff I was reading, the stuff I was thinking about, the stuff I was journaling about every single day, realizing more and more that if you take everything into your own hands, then you can control the narrative and you can control what you get or don't get. So in terms of that being scared, it's like, cool, I can say now, you know what? And this is why I say this often, if I get fired for this, okay, I chose that. I said a thing. I did whatever I did or didn't do to get that. But I own that. I can control that now. And so I can do as much or little as I want to do to get as much or little as I want. Oh, so the power starts coming back to you. You start regaining. So like, well, do you want to be impressing random people in a meetup with your knowledge of eye tracking and this other latest study and the latest design article about whatever, the latest method, the latest UI patterns, whatever the things are? Are you trying to impress them, or are you trying to like know what you're after, know what you're curious about, make stuff? I'm waffling again, but there's something there. There's something inside just the idea of being able to be comfortable asserting yourself and knowing that you can choose your path. I'll probably come back to that a lot, but for brevity, which is that has not been, please stop that train of thought.
Beautiful. I love it, Geoff. Focus on the things you can control. Because I'm reflecting myself as well, because I had that moment to be, just worry too much about other people's opinions and other people's, what do they think of me, or and also as a non-native speaker at the beginning, so like, oh, am I say something wrong, or like, is that accurate, is there accent that other people can't understand me? Too many thoughts, and those are the things that impact my actual performance and work, and also like the things I cannot control, it's from other people. So totally agree on that. But it's great to hear you have you share your experience, and love it.
So I think just to try to less waffle net, like if I go back to junior or intermediate me or whatever, whoever the main audience members or other people might be, I think it just gets down to that of knowing that as long as you know, like you're doing what you can, then you can't control regardless what's going to happen. I don't know whether you're comfortable talking about it. I'm not going to make you, but let's just say I heard in the news from afar in New Zealand, hey, a few years ago, Xero laid off a lot of people. You couldn't control that. So it's like, well, in the time that you have there, what are you doing that is going to make you undeniably good? That is a lesson I also learned in comedy. So all of this stuff was just a confluence, just at the same time. Because one of the big lessons in comedy that I learned was, I forgot who said it, was be undeniable. So if you are doing that, just be undeniable. I forgot who said it. It's wisdom passed down from whoever, might not have even been comedy. You can't control whether or not you get let go tomorrow. But what you can control is when you're doing the things you're doing, are you delivering value? If you know you are, who cares what method you used? If people are getting value out of that, does not matter what method, doesn't matter what tools, doesn't matter what tech, none of that matters as long as you're delivering something that you think is valuable or that they think is valuable, and obviously hopefully aligned. And I think that's one of the big tips we try to give, or at least I try to give people I'm kind of mentoring at work, is like, do you think this is the thing that we need to be doing? Don't do it just because we've heard people do it. I asked one of our newest UX junior designer recently. He was about to start like making these journey maps for stuff because just following. It's a tool. It's a playbook. I'll do this next. And I said, my hunch is we don't need that. And I can't tell you why yet. It's just a hunch. But I'm thinking of assumption maps. I was like, actually, this is a tool, a process though. Like, can you make like an assumption map of what you know at this point in your project? Like, what do you know? What do you not know? And how important is that? And because I was like, and see if knowing the journey is the next step, sweet, go make it, go learn it, go figure out what you need to know. But if that's not the next step, what is it? What might we be missing? So he did that, and we basically pivoted. It's like, mapping out the journey of how this flow works, it wouldn't have actually driven anything. It would have just been extra data that might be useful down the line when we're trying to pitch a thing upwards. Like, hey, we found this opportunity. Can you help us get it made? But right now, the more direct thing we needed to know was, well, how many people are doing this? And it's like, and why are they asking for this thing? Why are they looking for it? Why do they visit us? Why do they call us to get it? How are other people doing it? We needed to know that. We didn't need to know the steps that they went through, the UX flow. That could come later. And all of that is just getting people to sit down with, like, forget the methods that you think are important. Forget what you think people might, judge you on or whatever. If you could show, like, hey, here's what I think we need to answer. Here's what I needed to answer. Here's the way I went out and did it. That's undeniable. Like, nobody can really argue if you're showing this is what we needed. This is what I found.
Yeah. Totally. I think the tricky part for junior designer and researchers are they haven't got the full experience. Like they might know some specific approaches during some steps, but haven't able to see the full picture. It's like you are a chef working in a kitchen and you don't know the whole meal. You just focus on one ingredient or like one part of the recipe, and after that, you just, okay, let's follow the playbook. I need to do empathy mapping at this stage. It's like by Nielsen Norman Group. It's a must have. But why? And they just don't know that. I think it's quite challenging for juniors if they don't have the support from a senior or from a mentor to let them know, okay, why you should do that and why you shouldn't do that. But yeah, I think that's a learning journey. But one thing you mentioned about juniors, it made me wonder, do you feel that currently the AI stuff is happening and a lot of topic, and also I heard people say things like, are we seeing the end of junior designers? So, for example, AI will take their jobs and things like that. So what's your take on how the current trend, or like how AI is changing the landscape for new talent, for juniors?
I have two direct thoughts, because I do think about this often, and it's not just juniors, it's for us as well, right? It's for everybody. On one hand, I see, log into LinkedIn, I see your post. Hey, I'm making a thing. I found a new way to do it and I'm inspired. I'm like, I want to learn how to do that too. Right. And I've got a paid subscription to ChatGPT and, like, making some basic stuff, want to do more. But again, I'm trying to remind myself, no, one thing at a time, do this for now. And there's a worry. There's like a FOMO kind of thing of, well, crap, if I read the other articles I see on LinkedIn that say by 2027, corporations in the world in war and everything is going to be gone. It's like, well, crap, should I be working on this F1 thing now, or should I be learning AI? Because, wow, if these articles are right, in 2 years, it's all going to be gone. So it's not just juniors. The first feeling I have is a pragmatic, maybe skepticism of, I look at a workplace, especially when you have corporates and you have lots of people. We're still trying to explain UX design in 2025. If you are still explaining this, that's been around for decades. This idea, this concept of why it's not just delivery for delivery's sake and just like things like that, like why design matters, then part of me feels like, even if the AI tools exist, how many more decades will we just be trying to go, listen, guys, please just use this AI agent that we've made? Like, does that make sense, right? Like, we're still pitching old stuff. We're still like, hey, do you know, like trying to teach people Excel. Like, Excel has tons of functions, but some of the basics. Or like just teaching people how to, oh my God. Going to an office, right? I am efficiency driven. It's a thing. I want to be efficient. Part of it comes with the researching life, always finding opportunities. And when I see people like go to the office desk and like, they've got their laptop there and they've plugged it up to the monitors, but it's like just duplicating the screen. And it's like, hey, did you know like how to switch it to like, you could duplicate, you can extend it. You can have a second monitor. they're like, I just do it for power because like I don't know what clicks. There's just too many windows, too many settings, and I just don't bother. And it's like, wow, I know it's so micro, but if it's like nobody's taught somebody how to like set up a monitor when they plug up their laptop at work, then trying to worry about my job getting taken by an AI thing when nobody's even going to internally set that up to begin with. I'm like, there's enough runway. Maybe I can make it to retirement before it all goes away. Just because I think there's going to be just too slow. There's so many people I know still that like I made a birthday card, AI thing now. I love doing that. There's a birthday. It used to be, okay, let me just find a GIF or send them happy birthday. But now it's like actually a little bit of that creativity. Let me go make an image. I'll spend 5 minutes, make 6 different iterations on ChatGPT just because I know how to use it well. Make up a happy birthday image that's customized to them to show a bit more care, right? Rather than just going to the store and just buying a card and sending it. And I got like a load of praise the other day. Like, wow, dude, that made my day because the way it was funny and it meant to that person. And I think a lot of those people, like nothing against them, I just don't think a lot of people are still playing with it and playing with like AI and stuff. So that's the first part is I think there's still so little people using it that it's just those who are going to have an easier time. And, or if anything, you'll be the ones leading and showing people, here's how to do things well. Here's how we can be more efficient. So it's not a risk for jobs. It's a risk for, actually, that's not even a risk. I would say my hope is that it's more an opportunity for those who are driving something. So just like not everybody's an entrepreneur. Not everybody wants to be creating. Not everybody's running a podcast. If they do, they set up a podcast and they stop it after episode 1. You've got 800 some episodes. No, it will benefit those who want to have more or do more. That's what I'm going to tell myself for now. And so if you're a junior, learn how to do it if you think it'll help you get faster and better. And who knows, that might just make you rise faster than everybody else who's still not doing stuff that way. We're still spending forever, drafting a research script, an interview or whatever. So I think it can only be I think it'll still be a tool for those who want something more. And like anything, it just, I was reading some old stuff, like talking about iPhones again in 2007. And, it's everybody will hate on it for years. And then eventually it just becomes a thing. And then you just go back further in technology. People will hate on a thing for a while because it's scary because you don't know what it is. And then eventually 5 years later, most people are using it, but most people still don't know how, right? Like you can still you can have a phone today and it's still like half the settings make no sense. Nobody knows what these things mean, but you still use it. So I'm not that worried. I think that's the whole rambling part to this too, is I'm not that worried. I think it'll just be if you want to do more, you've got tools now to do more. You can show people the way that will benefit you. And I think I'll go back to that point of externalities, right? If all of those articles are correct, that in 2027, governments and spy organizations and all of this are going to have AIs that dominate the world and corporations and all that. Cool. I couldn't have done anything. So it goes back to the question, what can I do today? What can I do today that will leave me in a better space when that happens? Let that happen. I can't control that future, but what can I do? I could look up how to do something new today. I could watch your video and go, cool, maybe I should start watching some videos on how to do it. I could start playing with the tools myself and protect my future because that's something I can control versus just, the world's ending, AI is going to take over, we're not going to have jobs, woe is me. That will be the fate for those who just let that happen. If you just wait for somebody else to own your future.
Yeah, I love the final part, like how to change the mindset, like, okay, what can we do to make things happen? Or like, what can we do? Focus on the control circle so that, it will be like a health for the well-being, for the mental health and everything, it will be good. And for those FOMO posts on LinkedIn and on other social media channels, it's like sometimes they're intentionally like for the views or as a clickbait, like if you AI want to replace your job, another designer using AI will do. It's more like provoke like discussions or like your anxiety for that. But yeah, I think it's It's just, I agree with that. It takes time. And maybe the really small group of early adapters is using it. And yeah, sure, it's definitely empower, like make things so easy at the very beginning. But consider everything is going to be changed in a short time. I think it's still it's too complex to change all at once. Everything. Like the ways of work in corp.
And you know what? Like the ways of working and all that. How often in every organization, unless you're like a small one, there's going to be somebody that you're like, why are they still doing it that way? They're so traditional. Oh, they're holding us down. They're still in this old mindset, right? There's always somebody like that. And as we grow old, we'll be that person that 50 years from now, we'll be the ones that like, oh my God, Bear is still like, he's drowning us because he's making us do this old way that he knew in 2020. And so it's like, you're always going to have people, just things to fight over, things to try to change. People that run organizations are going to do it the way that they know how, what they're comfortable with. So just, if you want to look really good, that's what I'm saying. I guess it's that reframe. Don't be scared of something. Go, well, how could I use that to my advantage? So yeah, if you start using it, go to an organization that doesn't know how to do it. Dude, look at that. You've got brand new like work opportunities. You go there and go, hey, I see how you're doing it. I can help you guys do it 10 times faster. Let me teach you how. I'll be your consultant, your executive, whatever that is there. So use it to your advantage to show what you could do with it rather than sit back and passively be worried about what's going to happen to you. That's like for any industry, I feel like that's the way to go. You could worry about what could happen or you could do something about it. But that's a choice. And it's harder to do something. It's so much easier to just get worried or just sit home or just not do anything with it. So in ways, I play both. In some ways, I'll do stuff. And the other ways, I'll go, I just won't worry about it. I'll just let things happen. And then I'll be okay with the choice because that's the effort I put in. So yeah,
Totally agree. I'll share one simple story, like or example, because I used to, when I read an article, for example, when I find an article, I haven't read it, and I feel, oh, this is great. I'll collect it. I save it to ReaderWise or other tools, or like RSS tools to okay, let's read it later. And this is the UX approach, or this is like a how to video for doing something, but I don't have time to do that, and I save it, and then 100, 500, and even more, and then I will just be more and more anxious about that and feel, I should read all of them. So that's all the things I collected, and it's just get me into that stressful mode, like and then one day I just realized, okay, this is internet, okay, so every information is like infinite information and tutorials, resources. It's like a river. And what I'm trying to do is save some, like watching the river flows and say, I haven't consumed all the waters, like all the water running through me, and this should not be a problem, because I cannot do that, and I just use one bucket. Okay, today I will just use this one bucket to consume. This is the water I want to use, and that's it. And for the others, let it go, and then I delete all the articles that I collected, and it feels such a relief. And it feels something like, okay, let's focus on the things we can control and forget about those things. Even if it's like, okay, it's so powerful AI tools and people are using it. Okay, you can build an app within a few hours. And if it's not match what you are or where you are at the moment, just let it go and just leave it. And it's not relevant to where you are right now. And I think, just be intentional on that. And after that, I'm much more happier. Like, I'm much happier than that.
That's a superpower. I struggle with that still constantly. now that it's not necessarily design and research stuff, but it's like F1 content, or it's just how to make AI stuff or whatever. It's that same feeling is so easy to creep in. And I like your metaphor there. And I'm trying to burn it into my brain already, because so often it is still like, oh, I should read these articles. If I read these articles, I will be better off. Just the same way as it was 10 years ago. Oh, if I learn all of these research methods and design methods, then I will be better off. But if you spend so long reading it all and not trying to do stuff with them all, you're just endlessly consuming and you're not creating anything with it. And I think that's actually another thing that helped me a lot is somebody said, I forgot who it was, but I think related to just making stuff. You can consume or you can create. You can spend all your time consuming, whether it's TV and social media and whatever else, or you could be the one creating it. But you only have time. Everybody has time. You've got the same calendar block. So you could spend 5 hours consuming all of the articles on how to do this and that, or the books, or design books, or this book, or that book, or whatever. Or you could spend your time not learning those things, but practicing what you have learned. So like kind of taking your water metaphor of like a canoe, like it's the design analysis paralysis, right? You could, what's the best canoe? Well, I don't know which one to use, so let me research them all and spend forever. And I used to be so bad at that. And now it's more like, there'll still be a bit, but can I just grab one and get on the water and start paddling and I'll just figure it out. And over time, I can replace it. Today's trip, we'll go with this metaphor for now. You got a kayak, you're on the water. And you're paddling, your paddle is not great today. That's the research method you have or design method, whatever it is. Insert analogy here. But tomorrow, park your kayak again, get back to shore, change it out if there's a better one, see if it needs to be changed rather than trying to find the perfect, trying to read all about the perfect time, the perfect everything. You will learn more by doing. And it's one of those, you could say it, you don't get it until you just start doing it. And that FOMO, that worry that's a big stressor. And something you said earlier reminded me, like when you're like, you go to everybody's really good about writing compelling messages, especially on LinkedIn and the others. And that's why, like I talked at the beginning, when I'm doing this course, I'm trying to learn the marketing side now. And it hurts me because essentially what I'm learning a lot is like, you've got to learn how to do the hooks. You've got to learn how to make people feel this or that, or feel either they want to be part of it or feel like they don't have something. And that's what all those articles are doing good. And all the clickbaity headlines as you hear, you'll never guess how to earn $5,000 this month quicker than you've ever had before and whatever. And it makes you feel like, I have to read it. But the more time you spend reading, the less time you're spending doing. So if you want those outcomes, you just have to actually start doing the thing or choose, I don't want that outcome. And that's a fair call. You can just choose to go, what if I didn't pick up another book? And I think this is another one of the lessons, I guess, I learned somehow just by doing it, I guess, is while I was listening, as I said earlier, to every single design podcast, reading every article, all of that, it's like, what if I didn't? What's the worst that would happen? So let me actually stop for the most part. Let me do the ones that look interesting. Let me focus on those and spend the other time either relaxing or creating something for myself. And so it's like, cool, I don't need to read if I don't want to be. Nothing bad is going to happen if I stop reading a book or stop listening to this thing or couldn't answer a question. I might not be as hireable for a company who values that, but cool, that's a choice. I could always be like consuming stuff in hopes that somebody else will value it, or I could start making stuff that will be probably more of value. And that's maybe a way to get over that kind of FOMO feel. Just practice. Go make a thing. Go do a thing. Feel proud that you made a thing. You got down the river.
Love it. But the FOMO topic, I quite resonate on that because especially on LinkedIn, right? We talked about that earlier. Like, there are so many topics, and also we know that there are some marketers or content creators. They know the tricks to drive people's attention, and also even professionals like designers, researchers start to use it, like to using LinkedIn to promote. Myself is doing that, to be honest.
I'm doing it.
Yeah. So I'm curious about what your thoughts on this LinkedIn filter. Like, is it like the platform become
more about performing success and actually achieving it, or it's more like, or for other social media, but I just pick LinkedIn because there are so many professionals sharing things on that every day. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
My first thought is I'm trying to break, not an assumption, but go against it just because. So yeah, LinkedIn very much, if you look at it and take a step back, it's just look at me. Well, but that's the platform. The platform is essentially job hunting, right? It's this, it's your other portfolio. So look at me, I'm going to only put the best stuff forward and it's got to be polished and I'll show you how I made whatever money or impact or things, which is good stories. And if I am true to what I've said so far, hey, if people want to make a post with a hooky headline, an emotional story, and whatever it is that draws you in, those people, like the content or not, are doing something about it, right? They're posting something. And if that's my message, I got to be true to it. They're not just consuming, they're creating and making a post that's hooky and makes you feel a certain way and feels boastful. And maybe you feel like, oh, I can't stand up to that. Or I don't, do I want to play against them where they're already so good? But you could be like that. You could choose that. Or you could also choose to go, I'm going to work against the algorithm. It'll be to my detriment. I could play that game. I could play that game and make all this post. It kind of feel cringy to me. I posted something tomorrow that I just wrote in Substack. I took it there, copied it here. I'm like, well, why do I need to double think about this? And also, it's not it's the same kind of thoughts I have here. And it's not like the typical LinkedIn story of how I overcame this thing and whatever. It might get 0 likes. Also, I'm like, why do if anything, I'm doing it now just to kind of help share ideas and try to help people find peace. But also just because I like to write. So like, let me just share stuff because I can. And this goes like all back to, well, what are you after? If you're not after anything in particular, then do what you want, because then who cares? Like, but if you're like, oh, I want likes, I want followers. What do you want this for? What are you trying to get out of this? What message are you trying to send? Why are you doing any of this? And I think I've fallen into that trap so many times of I'm doing it for some social aspect that doesn't have an end. It's not definable. And then if it's not definable, you have no idea when you're done. It's like, how many likes is enough likes? I don't know. How many views, impressions on LinkedIn is enough? If your job, is, let's say the classic LinkedIn one of posting, hey, which design is better, A or B? On one hand, I like it from the scrappy side of, hey, you just got free market research without paying a recruitment company and all that. You just put it out there, right? You get free market research. Dude, fill your boots. Have at it. At the same point, half the comments will be very much like, this isn't how to do design, and you can't just you don't know the context. I'm like, also true. But it depends on what you're after. If the goal actually was just notice me, maybe that person's goal posting it was just a half inflammatory intentionally, maybe half ignorant. Maybe they don't know why it might not work well for their method. If they're using that to make an actual design decision, maybe that's not the best approach. If they're doing it though to get noticed, they're doing a good job of it. They've now got hundreds of comments of half the people voicing, oh, option A for this reason, free feedback. They've got option B of people, design leads and whatever, yelling about how this isn't the way to be doing things and it's ruining our industry and making us look bad and all blah, blah. But that person, if their goal was to get noticed, well, they did a good job of it. So I think it's just that of like, why, if we're worried about what a social media platform looks like and what's on there and who else is putting stuff, what's actually coming to mind is, why are we worried about it? That, I don't quite know what that is yet, but it's like, because I'm familiar with the feeling of, is it, oh, I'm worried it's going to cheapen our industry and cheapen the way we look. Well, again, you can't control what that other person did. So why don't you counteract it with posting a thing that you think should be on there, that you think would be valuable to show? Like, show me what it actually looks like that's good then. Because if you do that authentically well and people can understand it, then you will have more of an impact for you. And are you getting mad at somebody else posting stuff or everybody else posting this type of thing because it's yours isn't seen as much? Okay, well, there's your choice. You could play their game and get that outcome, or you could play your game It might be slower, might be longer, but if it makes you feel more morally or ethically less cringy or whatever it is, it's always a choice. So I guess I'm not too worried about it these days. Like after this call, I'm going to make some videos more for this F1 course. And I'm going to write some of those hooks, and I'm not feeling good about it right now. I'm not. But what I'm going to do is essentially a marketing test. I go, let me make 3 videos. One of them that's very much like, hey, I want to help you learn so you can feel like what I felt. One of them is just going to be, hey, here's how this thing works. One of them might be, don't embarrass yourself in front of your friends, right? You know F1 and you don't want to be left out. Like very negative, very just, ugh. I'm like, I don't like it. But let me test. Let me make 3 clips and put them out there and just see which one performs better in its own little market. 1, I get to learn how to do it. 2, it gets to be a little marketing test to see how does that perform. Because what's the goal underneath it? Well, if the goal is actually driving sales in some ways, other than learning how people respond and drive sales, cool. Maybe while I don't feel good about the negative, that's a choice I can make. I can make that choice to get the benefit of it or not get it. I have really long answers, I realized.
I like that. I like that, Geoff. It's more like especially the last part when you mentioned that if this is something you don't feel, okay, this is negative, I don't like it, but you raise it up to another level, like, okay, this is part of the process. I'm trying to know what it works, what is not, and it's a learning experience. And consider that the end goal is not just to get the perform or the outcome of this post. It's to understand the whole process, or like to have understanding of those approaches, and then you can learn, you can use it or not use it in the future, or you can recognize it when other people use it, and it could be good. It's like the dog pattern for UX designers, right? So you can choose to not use it, of course, or you can also identify those dog patterns if other products are using it, and you can make your choice to raise it up, or like to tell people or to get people notice on those patterns. So it's like understand the both sides. So after that, it becomes a better way. It's like Harry Potter's dog magic defensive class.
And it's like, and I so strongly believe in everything is a trade-off. Everything has a trade-off no matter what you do. So if you don't want to play a dark pattern, like, anything I work on, I will do my best for my, let's say, work-wise, of intentionally trying to avoid dark patterns, right? Like if I'm selling a course or doing whatever I'm doing, I'm not put that crap in there. I do not believe in that. But I do know if I chose to do that, I could probably have faster returns. Those things exist for a reason, making it hard to cancel and all of this kind of stuff. But that's a choice. You can make it. And I think a lot of people just get mad when other people make a choice, but you can't control the choice. You can control your choice. So just make the one that you think is best. Help your company or your business or whatever make the one that you think is right. And if they don't make that, you have another choice. You could quit. But then people go, well, I can't quit. I've got a family. Okay, well, that's a choice. You could work for the dark pattern company. You could not work for the dark pattern company. Working for them means you get paid more and you keep getting paid. Not working for them means you have to hunt for a job, and you might have to reduce budget and sell your house. God knows. But that's a choice. So what are you choosing to do with it? How are you doing it? Don't just leave things up to chance. Everything we do or don't do has an impact. It all has an effect somewhere down the line. So it's all just, what are you comfortable having or losing, and what do you want to trade for it?
Yeah, sounds like we have a thing for today's topic. Like you always have a choice. I realized that. I realized that we'll talk for around an hour, and I don't want to take more time from your video making later.
By the way, I'm fine, but that's totally up to your audience, because I don't know how long they bother listening.
Or listening probably to the last, maybe a last question. Because to continue the topic that we discussed around those LinkedIn and social media and other things, I think it's that we know that there are algorithm, or like there are approach, there are tricks for getting views. But can you
be authentic or like be true to yourself while following those algorithm rules? Like, can you be very like authentic on the things you're sharing, but also you use those tips, use those tricks to do that? What's your take on that?
I guess a good last one, because it all just bundles it all together, and I'll be a bit repetitive. Peek behind the curtain for everybody listening, because I like behind the scenes stuff. And these are things you can clip out. Guess what? Bear gave me a document and we've collaborated. And I think whether or not he sees my changes, he probably does. I love peek behind the curtains as content that I consume. I love seeing how food is made. So like, oh, I could see where he's going with this question, and I could re-review the answer that I wrote ahead of time. All of that to say, I'm going to read this quote from Simon Sinek, which you could notice a lot of themes over the past hour, because I was actually reading it again recently, because it was on the coffee table. So a lot of this is just like fresh off of whatever I'm reading and just like incorporating it all. He said, authenticity is when you say and do things you actually believe. So I think people can see through it. So one, we're playing a lot of the content creation. And I don't like the word content, but it's the easiest word to use. So whether it's LinkedIn and you're posting a case study about yourself, that's content. If you're posting TikTok videos on dancing or whatever it is, that's content. If you're talking about AI, it's content. And so, there's fighting an algorithm and trying to play its game of using the right keywords and writing messages the right way. And it's a whole game to learn with that, which is what I'm trying to do. And then there's the fringe side you might have heard a minute ago. I'm like, I don't really want to sell things this way because it just doesn't feel right. It's not authentic to me. Well, I'm sure everybody else can see that, right? So it's like I could get into that trade-off. You can you just be your brand. Every decision you make, everything you are that brand. Some people will see you for a day. Some people will see you for a microsecond before they swipe on. Some people will get to know you. We've known at least of each other for 5 years or so now. And so you will learn people. If you post a lot of that LinkedIn stuff, that's very algorithm friendly, and it's got all the hooks, and it's got all the negative or positive or whatever it is, and all the emotional stories, it could do well on the algorithm and send to random people you don't know. And if those are the random people you are trying to impress, good on you. Hope you get what you want. If you're trying to look for a local job, then let's say myself, if I see it, if that's not the kind of message I want, it backfired for you, because then I'll go, well, I don't really, the stuff you've posted, you kind of feel like a risk to me. I'm not going to hire you. And so it depends on if you know what you're after. So when I make stuff, I'm going to be authentically me, which is still a word I'm sitting with this week. That's my word for the week, of thinking about authenticity. So I love that you put it into a question before even you read my mind. Because I'm hearing the word used a lot more. I'm using it a lot more. Internally, we call it spicy thoughts a lot. It's our new little buzzword, because it's here's spicy thought incoming, because Jeff's going to just say what's on his mind. But I'm making a choice. I'm like, well, that is actually me, because what's on my mind, I want to share it because I'm seeing a risk, or I'm seeing something I disagree with. And I could play the game, let's say a corporate game or work game or LinkedIn game or whatever. I could play the game of not saying that stuff and sitting on my hands and just keep getting a paycheck and going home. Or I could say that while I'm on this earth and while I'm working at this place, I want to drive what I think is valuable. I can be wrong. That's fair. That's fine. I will take feedback. But I can also voice the things that matter to me, and I can make decisions based on that, whether I want to work there, whether if I get a chance to hire somebody, whether or not I want to hire them. So let people do what they do. Let people be whatever they want. But if you can't tell why they're doing what they're doing, or they're doing it for a reason that doesn't align with yours, you don't have to choose them. You don't have to follow them. You don't have to hire them. You don't need to buy from them. You don't need to do that thing. So do whatever you want to do. Just accept whatever trade-offs come as a result of that. Does that feel in line with this idea? How do you feel about authenticity for LinkedIn? How does that come across to you? Even your own stuff.
Yeah, for me, I think it's quite. I have two different stages at least. So around while I'm working at Zero and also as a corp the designer working a corp, sometimes quite hesitated to share things. Even I'm curious, or like this is my passion or something I did on my spare time. But I do feel that, if I share it on LinkedIn or share it on social media, is that going to dilute my professional,
persona
Bear as a professional designer? So it's like, he's doing some half baked baking like lo-fi and share it on LinkedIn, and some immature or things like that. And now I take the mindset into another step. Like, okay, don't be blocked by who I was, or like who I was hired, because that's an image. That's not who I am right now. And if I'm curious about something, and I don't know many things about this thing, and I just share it. Okay, currently my understanding or like my step or my process about this is at this level, but it's not as I should be as a designer. Like if I regard myself as a senior designer, when I share things, it should be on this level. But now I just share it on the very beginning.
But Bear, you're right. When you are working, right, does your design just come out gold? No, it doesn't. It starts with a pencil sketch on a piece of napkin or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Nothing you design starts out great, but yet there's that mindset of traditional LinkedIn of, it's got to be. This is what people tell you not to do in case studies, right? If you've ever heard that design advice, I know you have, but like juniors and stuff. Oh, your portfolio, if you have one, I challenge. Do you even need one? That's a side topic. But like, show your working thoughts. So when you share, like seeing your stories of, I don't know what this is yet, but I'm learning. That's to me somebody that's hireable. Because I don't want somebody who's going to do nothing until it's perfect, because it never will be, and who will be so stuck in it has to be this way or not at all. I used to be like that. But now, seeing yours, like that's the authenticity. It's, hey, this dude admits that he doesn't know everything. Great. He's got some humbleness to him. He makes stuff. Awesome. Great. Bear looks fun. Let's see what else he gets. Oh, wow. And he's creating stuff that I didn't know. Now I'm learning from him as well. And now I know what to expect of you. Just like doing this. I've made conscious choices for the past hour of, if this goes out and I link this somewhere in a CV or something, right? Go, hey, I was a guest on this podcast. If you don't like the way I talk, this is what it is. This is what you're going to see in the office. Every day you're going to meet me. I'm going to talk like this. If you and me work together one day, we're in Auckland. It's a small community. This is going to be me. I'm not going to be any different anymore. And the good part is, if you like that, you like that. If you don't like that, you don't like that. Sweet. It saved us both the worry. It's kind of like dating. Why be fake on a date?
Don't pretend
get it
who you're not.
Just be what you're going to be, because they're going to find out soon enough. So just get to the punch. Just be you. Yeah.
And also, I think it's much better it's the best way for who you are, or for your mental health and your stress level control. Because if you pretend who you are not, it takes much more effort and energy and things to consider.
And not everybody's going to like you, but that's okay, as long as you know why. If you think everybody has to, well, then what are you trying to get from that? Maybe it's like they always talk about design, right? Find your target persona. Who are you trying to target? If you try to target everybody, you're getting no one. So what is it you want? I want somebody who can create and think and is willing to talk through weird, deep stuff.
Right.
Now, not everybody in the team needs to be that way. Cool. We need some diversity. Not everybody should think like this. It'll be long. It'll be hours before we get anything done sometimes. But yeah, like, I love your story. I love that you're posting stuff like that, because it really is getting me excited to make more. It's like, look, now I'm jealous when I see your stuff. I'm like, wow, Bear's so far ahead of me. He knows how to make all these things. Like, am I ever gonna? But it's also like, wait, I could just learn. I don't have to. Just because one person's doing it doesn't mean somebody else like me can't also do a thing.
Yeah.
So it's
exactly.
Like that's the inspiring stuff, rather than just look at me, I did a thing. But that's part of it. It's part of the game. Depends on what you're after.
Yeah. Well, this has been a fantastic conversation, Geoff. I really like it.
I hope so.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the time and for sharing this. But before we go, is there anything you'd like to share or promote? I know that like F1 stuff behind
it's all
you.
cut off anyway. I think finally, I could say I've got a new domain. I've long had like a Squarespace site that I just moved up to WordPress. That part's not important. What's important is I finally have a domain that's easier to say on a podcast. I hope this will be the first test. That's gwilsonswork.com. This is my blog. This is where I write. It used to be all design articles when I used to try to just be that person at all times. And now it's more like this. I like to talk about this kind of thing. I like to talk about mentalities and mindsets. So from the writing side, that's my site, Geoff Wilson, or gwilsonswork.com, or my old one, geoffwilsonhcd.com. But then I've also on there linking to this Formula Fast Track. So yes, if anybody is also really curious.
I really like your thumbnail on the top left.
That was all, also peek behind the curtain. That was just because my wife was playing with WhatsApp stickers. Like, I don't know if you use those, but you can create stickers from photos on WhatsApp. And a few years ago, it was just in the bedroom. She's like, oh, I've learned about this. One day I was like, ha. And it's a grainy photo, but that's me. And I'm like, that is me, because I'm doing this throughout a call. And so I was like, that's going to be my branding. I'm going to use that in everything. And it's a crappy photo. I don't even want to try to replicate it. And it's just, trying to be me. So that's the photo. Anyway, if you want to learn more about Formula One, if you do want to, it's always better to watch with friends. That's the positive message. Formula Fast Track, it's on stand.store. It's my little experiment. So if you've watched Drive to Survive, or you've got friends in the office that are talking about F1 and you want to be part of it, look it up. I still need to work on how to get people to that website, because there's the part of talking about it, and there's like, how do you describe, especially with algorithms, how to get people to your product, because all the algorithms try to stop you from sending links, and if you say go visit this, they devalue your video. So there's the half-baked promotional pitch. If you like this stuff, if you want to learn more about F1 or just mindsets, follow me there or wherever. Do you?
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Geoff. And also I want to extend a massive thank you to the guest who's listening. To the audience who's listening. And if you're enjoying this, please be sure to subscribe and leave us a review. And also check Geoff's website. I'll put it in the show notes. So thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next one.
This is so fun.
您刚刚收听的是狗熊有话说 BearTalk， 我是节目主持人 Bear。这是一档自2012年起持续更新的中英双语独立播客。我们聊设计、科技、个人成长，也关注那些值得好奇与思考的人和事。希望每一期节目都能成为您日常生活中的一个灵感源泉。您可以在官网 beartalking.com 收听我们的最新节目，也可以在任何您习惯使用的播客平台搜索狗熊有话说 BearTalk 收听。如果您喜欢这档节目，请在苹果的 Podcasts 上留言与评分，让更多人发现这个节目。如果您使用 Twitter， 也就是 X， 那么也请关注我的账号 Bear 刘，来聊一聊您的想法，分享您的故事。感谢您的收听，我们下期节目见。You've been just listening to BearTalk, a podcast hosted by me, Bear. Since 2012,This independent bilingual show has been sharing conversations around design, technology, and personal growth, all rooted in curiosity and a love for thoughtful ideas. Each episode is designed to bring a touch of inspiration and connection to your everyday life. You can find our latest episodes on the website at beartalking.com, or simply search for BearTalk on whichever podcast app you normally use. If you're enjoying the show, a rating or review on Apple Podcast would mean a lot. It helps others discover us too. And if you are on X, formerly Twitter, follow me, Bear Big or Bear Liu, to share your thoughts or join the conversation. Thanks ever so much for listening. Until next time.